Hi, it's Rye. I'm sitting here working on my State of the Youth address, and I don't know, I figured I'd practice a little bit right now. Um, so yeah, I know that Ryan Ryhut reported on my speech tonight, and I got a little preview of that. And I guess he's put kind of a pressure on for me to perform. All right. Hi, it's Ryan Ryhut. I'm reporting live here from our nation's capital. This is the U.S. Capitol right behind me. As you can see, or maybe you can't, it is still under construction. Oh, just sat on my horn. Uh, so if security comes over, we'll deal with it. So I think the situation of the building being under construction is interfering with the mindset of Congress. Even worse, I believe, than the paralysis that has existed even prior to now. So I had some great hopes going into the new year. I took the winter off, thinking that, I was thinking that things were going to change, but as soon as I got back, things have not changed. So it's time to do something about it, and I realized that there's a lot of talk about a revolution, and some people don't believe it's going to happen, and that the answer is in Congress and finding ways to fix Congress. Well, I've watched for a long time. I've been politically active my whole life. I've grown up around this place, and I don't see how Congress, I just don't see it. I've never grown up in a time when it worked. So for me, a revolution makes more sense. It seems more likely than fixing Congress. So, but I accept that this building has to exist, this institution exists, the people that do the work has to exist for some reasons that are good and some reasons that are just the inertia of waste and other things that just really shouldn't be happening. So we can clear that up. So we should combine the revolution with Congress and changing it. We have less than a year. All we need is like 440 new people to take the reins and take over and represent themselves, and in the process represent the people they are supposed to represent. And that means you go in, you spend a term in Congress, you do your job representing your people, and you move on with your life. It's not a career. If you want a career in Congress, go be a staffer, work on a committee, do things. So do something here in the district. But you don't just sit there for 10, 20 years, 30 years. No, that's not what you do. So I appreciate the people who have served this long, and I anticipate that those are the people who are going to lead the way in announcing their retirements this year, along with eventually everyone else. I think the Freedom Caucus, the Congressional Black Caucus especially, can help lead the way on this and say, look, It's time to move on and bring in a new generation, and give young people a chance. The minimum age for being in the House is 25. The minimum age for the Senate is 30. I don't believe in those minimum ages anyway, but they exist, and they imply that, okay, maybe we should have some 20-somethings and 30-somethings in here. How many of those do we have? The average age of the country is like 35. What is the average age of Congress? Yeah, so nothing against anybody of a certain age. I don't believe in ageism, but pretty much every generation before mine has, and I just don't. So I'm not looking to retaliate against anyone who's been around on the earth, gone around the sun a few more times. I don't mind that. Good for you. That's an accomplishment. You should be proud of it. And you should be proud if you've maintained your youth through all of that. But we have to do something about the age discrimination on the other end, the way we treat our youth. And it is with that I'm reporting that the governor of our district youth is going to give his state of our district youth address this evening. I believe at midnight Mountain Time. I heard. I know people, but that's what happens when you grow up around this place your whole life. With intermittent travel, to get perspective on the world and the country, and what I've learned is everybody just wants the same thing. We all just want to live free and love what we do, and there's no reason why we can't do that. It's the 21st century. It's 15 years into it, 16 years. It's time. The revolution is it's televised because it's happening. It's happening right now. Everybody's looking for like a guillotine or like even just like swarms of people in the streets. We're looking at the past for ideas about how this is going to happen, when we could just make it up now. All you have to do is get on your phone, like I'm doing now. Okay. I don't care if it's low quality, okay? This is a front-facing camera, all right? But look, put it in black and white. Makes everybody look better. Anyway, all right? Plus, we're living in the past, so artistically, it's kind of expressing that we are still living in the past. And we're looking at the past for some idea. You really want to repeat all that? No. But we can learn from it, and we can have people who can help us learn from it. But right now, I'm focused on right now and tomorrow, maybe, the next day. Yeah, sure. But all that time, should be the same. I should be able to be happy. I should be able to just live. I'm living. I should be able to live. Good for me. I exist. I did a lot of work to exist and keep an existence. Look around at all the people who exist, how hard it is to exist. Think about the people who don't exist anymore, at least in the forms that we're used to them. It's really windy out. It's really cold today. 1 minute it's 70, 80 degrees in December. I guess now everyone will say we're in an ice age, whereas before we had global warming. Everyone's looking for some answers to that. Well, the answer is us. Whether it's man-made or not, it exists. Even if it's just the natural order of things happening, it exists. So we have to deal with the ramifications. So just deal with it. Some people think that just, why bother dealing with anything if God can simply fix it? Then let's get God to fix it, Or if you believe that God has nothing to do with it and it's on us, then do that. I think that either way, it's going to lead to the same place, which is we're the people. We're the animals on the earth that are supposed to take care of the earth. What other animal is going to take care of the earth? If we don't do it, who is going to do it? That's our job. That's one of the jobs we have. That's the one we're born with. Plus, if you live in a place like America, you're born into being a citizen, which is also a job. That's 2 jobs you're born with. I would end this rant, but I know it's becoming more interesting to you because you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I do those jobs, and they are hard, and I should get paid for them. And then from there, you either go with that thought and believe that, and then you get mad because you don't get paid, or you convince yourself you don't deserve to be paid for that stuff, and then you move on with your life. I mean, those are the only 2 options, right? The only other option would be to say, yes, I deserve these things, and no, I'm not going to go on with my life until I get them. So that's what I'm here to say to Congress, all right? The state of our district youth, in my opinion, is poor. And it's time to give them what they need. And I think the governor is going to lay that out in a way that makes sense. And it's informed by the youth. So before I say this, I want to point out that this is all very serious. I mean, I'm serious what I'm saying and what I'm doing. At the same time, I'm trying to have fun with it because it is so serious, I guess. And I think I'll probably get pretty emotional throughout this process, wherever it goes. And so just bear with me. Hello, I'm Citizen Rye, speaking to you right now in my role as Shadow Governor of our district. The planned occasion for this address was to report on the state of our youth. However, the current climate in our nation's capital and right here at home in Jefferson has led me to conclude it is time to assert myself. So, here it is. Okay, I'm just letting the gravity of the situation sit in for a second. Okay. So, I must declare, by by the power vested in me as a citizen and a resident and a representative of myself and speaking on behalf of pretty much everyone else. I must declare a state of emergency exists here in our district and in the surrounding territories. This declaration does not come as a result of this weather. Because obviously we know how to handle things here in Jefferson and our district. It's not been easy, and things have been going pretty slowly in some places, but given the fact that winter caught up with us, dumped it all at once, and has since turned into a kind of a mild winter or cool spring at this point. So please bear with our people doing the work, the city, the counties, the work at the state level, and what I expect to be swift action by the federal government to assure everyone involved that the resources will be there, no matter what the cost. I don't want people working overtime that are not sleeping, not eating well. I don't want people worrying about budgets over this. It's not necessary. These are natural disasters or human-made disasters. Either way, they need to be paid for. We accept the responsibility of that. As a common group of people, we just do. We acknowledge weather exists and it happens, and so we deal with it. So we allocate whatever's necessary. So that's what the budget is, whatever's necessary. I trust my neighbors in my community to decide, this is what we need. These are the resources we have available that we can get. There's no shortage of people who need work. And I know that not everyone can jump in and plow snow, but many of them could get trained for the next time. Or they can pitch in somewhere else. They can just do like they did today and help me shovel out my car. And it's unfortunate that I can't, look at this person, my neighbor, or my fellow citizen, or a visitor, or an immigrant, or someone who is clear across the world. I can't look at them and say, you are getting what you deserve, which is some peace of mind on the things we can control, like the fact that we have the ways and means to pay for these things. So just do it, okay? So yeah, I'm not here to report on the weather, but that is something that has come up, and I think it needs to be addressed immediately. So, in case there's any question, if anyone hasn't heard from somebody, you will get paid. No rush. We got schools closed. We got, I don't know what else is closed. Let me know. But we got a few places open. I know that. Try heading downtown if you're able, wherever downtown is for you. Someone's open. And if not, they'll open for you. That's the kind of thing they do in downtowns. It's just what happens. So make it happen. Everybody's off. What are you doing? Hopefully watching this video. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm delaying. And I'm getting distracted, which is the whole problem with the whole political system. Delay, distract, delay, distract. Drama. Ooh, drama. Well, I prefer comedies. But I also get drama, and I, drama's everywhere. People thrive on it. But comedy's a lot more fun and less destructive and healing. I don't know if drama is healing. Maybe it is in some cases, but you have to find the comedy. You have to find the opportunities in the crises. You've got to recognize that when bad and terrible things happen, it's not a punishment for us. It's not because we're bad. It's just we, God, the universe, you're preventing worse things from happening. That's what we do. Whatever's going on with the moon and the sun and the stars and the however many planets we have, and the creator or God or physics or whatever you want to call it all. These things are happening. Maybe it's all interrelated. Probably. Seems to be if you look around. But all of that kind of affects everything on a larger level, in broad strokes. The weather affects us in a broad stroke way, a big hurricane or a big snowstorm. It is up to us to finesse the events going on around us and allow it to mold with us. And that's the way good government should work. It should facilitate on the issues we know we have to deal with, and then do whatever it takes at those moments that we can't control or haven't figured out how to control. So we need a citizen government. We can't afford to just have a few people doing things. Like right now. You can walk around a downtown in one of the snow dumped areas and you see offices closed. We have schools closed. These things kind of stop functioning. But we still function. So what are we doing in that time? What if we need something? Well, that's why it's important not to be so reliant on the government. That's why it's helpful to be able to fend for yourself. But you can't do that all the time, necessarily. It's helpful to know people are there. You put someone in isolation and they go mad. We are individuals, but we also thrive and survive together in a way. So it's up to us to kind of be able to create the space around us and along with other people so that we can gel together and coexist. and govern ourselves, and then in those moments help each other out. So right now, today, you've got some businesses that opened. I don't know about dinner time, but during lunchtime I didn't see that many people out. When it was snowed the other day, it was only one diner open. And still, that wasn't that busy. Take advantage. There's no school, there's no anything. There's a town. We have a great small town. The walkability, yeah, put on some boots. We can handle it, right? I reused my CVS bags as my shoe, covering my shoes, my normal shoes. Because I have very special shoes I prefer to wear. And so you just adapt. And the more we all adapt and evolve through this stuff together and just believe it's our job, then the job of citizen becomes less taxing. It'll still be a challenge to do stuff, but generally you're already doing stuff. For the most part, you're going about life doing things in a peaceful manner and going about your business. Everyone has their moments, and then some people drift off into another place and they end up in different situations. Part of that is a result of conditions that were created beyond their control, and part of it is things that they can. However, there's no reason why it can't. There's no reason why it can't all work well. There isn't. All we have to do is stop accepting this idea that it just is like this. Like, look at the presidential campaign. Are we all really just going to accept whatever options are fed to us? I went to school for media, okay? The basic thing we learned was the media, well, this was like 15 years ago. And the basic idea, it was a little different then in the media than it is now. But the basic idea then was the media don't necessarily, well, the media don't tell you what to think. They tell you what to think about, right? So the media right now are presenting to you certain options you have for who will be our commander-in-chief. We know a lot of them now by name, by last name, by first name. And we're kind of just, people are just accepting these as the options and saying, oh, well, all right, it's one of these. Well, you have a few more options than you're being led to believe. And I hope you will take some time to examine what you have, because, you know, in any situation where you have two parties trying to work something out, it's always helpful to have a third party come in to help mediate. So why shouldn't our commander-in-chief be that person? You know, this person should be pretty apolitical, in my view. And I don't even know that that's only my view. So think about that when you're thinking about who should be president. And if you don't like your options, find another one. Go searching. There are people out there. The leaders are out there. There are many who have tried and put themselves out there, but no one's paying any attention, at least not yet. But open your minds. We're all individuals. We are all independent at some point, right? And by nature, as Americans, we are leaders, right? So we must lead by example in every way. And so we must take care of our people. And regardless of all the excuses we've heard over the 20th century, my entire life, our entire lives, we can't accept the limitations that are held over, you know? So it's time to just suspend reality, whatever reality is for you. And keep in mind, I am speaking to this issue in front of a camera phone that I will watch again along with you as a citizen. Because I'm not saying this as some perfect model. I'm saying this as someone who's thought this through, figured this out, and understands it from a wide variety of perspectives. And I know plenty of people out there that could sit here and do the same thing and say the same thing. I just happen to realize I'm in a position to do something about it and put it out there in the right way. Okay, so I came here to originally address the state of our youth, and I've decided to change it based on the fact that we are in a state of emergency. And as I've pointed out, that is not due to the weather. And it is in fact related to the original reason why I decided to speak on this issue. Okay, well, here it goes. When you hold the camera for 22 minutes, it gets kind of tired. When you need some help, that's one thing that needs to get across eventually, both to you and to me, because so far I've been doing this job alone. Not really alone, but kind of. And so, in doing this job, acting as the shadow governor, I'm simply going around and spending some time figuring out how to guide you into that role. And I'd say you're each on the right path at this point to be ready to do this and take on that responsibility. I know that because you're watching this. So you either know me or you don't know me, but someone you know knows me. Or someone, and the whole 6 degrees of separation thing, we've probably been connected at this point. And so in that connection, hopefully the idea will get there to you and cement. And even just for a split second enough for you to say to yourself, I have a choice. I am free. And life is fair. It is. Things balance out. This idea that life isn't fair is an excuse. And we can forgive the people who've been perpetuating it up until now. We can let go of the excuses, and we can mutually just accept and agree that we all have dignity, we all have value, and life has meaning for each of us. We are born with a job, and we are destined for many jobs. And we're going to get paid well for all of them in whatever way that comes to us. So through this process, I hope that we each stay focused forward and moving upward while looking outward, okay? We're not just tunnel vision here, okay? There's a lot going on to think about. And with us all doing it and all on the same page, I think by now you get it. And you'll have time. There'll be a little process that we go through. This is the revolution. The revolution is improvised right now. As you watch this, as you decide, right now is the revolution. And I have the ability, I have the power as an individual to televise it and express whatever I want to express and show whatever I want to show from it. And I will derive value from that experience as an individual. We as a community. It's going to be fun. It's not death and destruction. That's what we looked, yeah, we've seen that before, and that's what that looked like, but that was just a desperate time and an unnecessary way to go about it. We are leaders. We should lead the world through all of this change that is happening. It's just happening. Whether it's because of God, or whether it's the stars and the moons and the planets and all of that, or whether it's stuff we did, or whatever. It doesn't. Just do it. It's here because you've decided it's here now. It's here. And give this video or record your own video saying basically the same thing. Feel free to plagiarize. I don't know what the word is for that when you get permission. I don't know, whatever. You don't even have to credit me, whatever. Because I want you to represent yourself here. Because I can't do it all for you, okay? I got my own issues. So, now, delay and distract. Okay. So, I, Citizen Rye, in my capacity as shadow governor of our district and Speaker of the House of Jefferson, I declare a state of emergency exists because the fundamental and basic rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness do not currently exist for each individual citizen of our district. Furthermore, the ways and means to secure oneself, one's home, and one's freedoms have been unjustly withheld and must be returned without delay. And it is the duty of every leader, lawyer, and legislator to join together in an effort to stop taxing our people. I recognize the transition to a new system is a change that some may fear. However, what I fear more is the continuing results of inaction. So far, the path we have taken has been plagued by unforced errors. We can bring stability to the economy, and we can correct the imbalance in society by trusting in the people as individuals to invest in themselves and govern their own space. And while we spend our time and due diligence on creating a common sense plan that has consensus among leaders and support from the people, we must still address the state of emergency here on our streets. So far, my governing philosophy has embraced the idea that we live in a free and fair society where individuals enjoy the right to speak or remain silent, bear arms, practice their faith or none at all, assemble as citizens, want not, and fear nothing. So it is with great regret and sadness that I must admit that we do not live in such a place. And so unless and until we do, and all the people are able to exercise their own will to live free and love what they do, I shall represent those who are disenfranchised by the acting authorities and advance freedom and fairness on their behalf. As such, I will meet this week with citizens and my fellow leaders before heading before I head to the White House, where I will express the urgent needs of the people and then expect an immediate course of actions to address these needs. Once I'm done there, I'm going to head down to Capitol Hill and insist on efforts to deal with the long-term changes necessary to ensure a secure and stable and confident America. You may wonder how a self-appointed governor of young citizens, many of whom do not vote, most of whom are not allowed to vote, and all of whom represent a majority of this country, I bet you wonder how I expect to be heard when I go down to these places. Well, I say rest assured on that because I derive my confidence from the simple fact: math is math. And if you look at the numbers, I speak for more people than they do. And it's clear from the current state of our youth that their voices have not been heard, and too many lives have been lost. That we can no longer delay or distract from the important issues facing our people. Forgot my last card. Where's my last card? Where's the last card? Alright. Somewhere in here. Good thing I've got organized. Thanks for bearing with me on that. Alright. And so, it is time. The state of our youth is real. It exists. It's time we value it. Peace be with you. Everybody needs to be happy, and everybody needs to be taken care of, and they need to get paid for their jobs. Okay, that's 2 jobs I've already laid out. Then we have other jobs. We have being parents. We have being teachers. We're all teachers. We are all teachers. We are all caregivers. First and foremost, we are caregivers of ourselves. And at times we become caregivers of other people because they can't take care of themselves in various moments in their life. These are jobs. Now, I don't need to say who has been bearing the burden of many of those jobs over the eons. But it's time to value that. And there's no reason we can't do it. None. So I look forward to the governor's address tonight at midnight Mountain Time. And I look forward to reporting it. Be well.